Hello everybody and welcome to something different today. This is Betamax 52 here and I'm going to do a little review that could be split into, actually no, it will be split into multiple parts because YouTube has this stupid 10-minute rule. I'm going to be doing a review of the Sega Dreamcast console. It was the last console made by Sega. I don't think I have to give an explanation to what Sega is. If you know anything about video games then you know something about Sega. This is just an introduction as to what games I'll be reviewing today and the peripherals as well. First I'll be covering the console. The console isn't wired up at the moment, so after wire replace it, I'll be showing you multiple games. In fact, I'll be showing you a lot. I won't be surprised if this reaches an hour of footage. But let's start with just an introduction to the console itself. Dreamcast was released in 1999. It was the same year that the PlayStation 2 was announced, and the PlayStation 2 caused the Dreamcast to death, even though the PlayStation 2 was inferior in my opinion. And Dreamcast couldn't play DVDs like the PS2 could. That was the main selling point. That was the main selling point of the PS2, the fact that it could play DVDs. Dreamcast used a proprietary GD-ROM format, which was devised by Sega to combat copy protection. Copy protection on the Dreamcast was rubbish because you could just pop a copy in there and it would work. It wouldn't lock out any copies. I think it was region protected though. It's basically a standard for GD-ROMs are the same size as CDs if you didn't know. Open button here, power button. I like to feel the power button. And here is the controller. I think this controller is quite comfortable. The trigger buttons can get quite uncomfortable if you're playing like a racing game, which uses the right trigger to accelerate for about an hour on end. But buttons feel quite nice. D-pad is much better than PS2 controller. And if I can get it out, then no, I can't get it out at the moment. But if this thing inside here, this thing here is called a visual memory unit. It's a VMU, and in the thing there's a screen. That screen shows up like things related to the game that you're playing at the time. It's a really nifty feature that must have been revolutionary at the time it came out, but I was free then, so I wouldn't know. The Dreamcast was probably the first I think it was the first console that I ever owned to myself, and I love the thing. I didn't love it as much as the PlayStation 1 back when I was a kid, but I love it more than the PlayStation 1 now. Just to have a quick run through of the games I'll be reviewing. Hang on. What's first? I'll be reviewing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which is a quiz game that was only released in the UK because it's based off a British game show. Spirit of Speed 1937, which is a copy because I'm not paying for this game. I'm only playing it to show you, not be biased, and show you some of the bad points of the Dreamcast, but this is the worst racing game I've ever played in my life. Metropolis Street Racer. Most of you Project Gotham Racing fans will know this as the successor to the Project Gotham series on the Xbox. Only it's a lot harder. It's probably the most difficult racing game ever, in my opinion. Sega Rally 2, the game that everyone owned if they owned a Dreamcast. In everyone that I knew that owned a Dreamcast owned one anyway, and it had the best graphics ever anyone had ever seen at the time, and so it was revolutionary. Of course, you can't review a Dreamcast without reviewing Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure is probably my favourite game of all time. It's amazing, and I've got a copy of Sonic Adventure 2 in the back bit of it. It's just that it's extremely hard to find on eBay for under 15 quid nowadays. So I'm hoping to get an original copy of it someday though. UEFA Striker, classic football game. Choo Choo Rocket, which is a genuine copy, but I'm missing the front cover and everything, so I've just got this. It's a puzzle game that was made by Sonic Team, and it's It seems boring when you first start it, in my opinion, but it gets very addictive. Wild Metal, very underrated game in my opinion. Got like 2 out of 10 from most reviewers, but I'd give it about a 7. It's a quite enjoyable game. What else have we got here? I've got more copies. Virtua Tennis. You probably know Virtua Tennis, don't have to explain that. Another one you probably know, Crazy Taxi. Power Stone, Capcom fighting game, very similar to Street Fighter except it's in 3D. Sonic Shuffle, another very underrated game, got low scores but I do find it quite addicting. Quake 3, the ultimate online Dreamcast game, but I'm got my Dreamcast connected to online and I think the servers are shut down anyway, so yeah, I can't show you any online on that, but we'll show you single player mode. San Francisco Rush 2049, classic, a racing game that is also on Midway Arcade Treasures free for the PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube. It nearly warrants the entire price of that Midway Arcade Treasures collection. So if you don't own Dreamcast, get Midway Arcade Treasures because it's a very good racing game. Magical Racing Tour, Walt Disney racing game. I also think this is underrated. Most people think that it's very kiddie and it's not for them, but the racing aspect is quite difficult. The artificial intelligence is quite difficult in later stages, and although this disc has a glitch that'll make the Dreamcast freak out if you pause it for some reason, so I don't know that. I won't be able to pause it anyway. Jet Set Radio. I think it was the first game to use cel-shaded graphics, and I had a sequel on the Xbox called Jet Set Radio Future, which I did used to own, but I don't own an Xbox anymore, so I can't play that. But I've got an original, genuine copy of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. My second favourite of the Tony Hawk franchise, next to Tony Hawk's Underground. And Tony Hawk's probably my favourite franchise ever. And it's got a giant crack down there, but that's because I got it used on Amazon for like £2. Toy Story 2, which is a port of the PlayStation game based on the film Toy Story 2, obviously. I've got the first Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game here, but I won't be reviewing that. But I've got a Dreamcast Utopia boot disc here, which I use to boot the copies and other regions games. Spider-Man, probably the only superhero game I've played that doesn't suck. And last but not least, MTV Sports Skateboarding, another absolute rubbish game that I'm only reviewing just to not be biased. I'll just show you some of the peripherals. This is a keyboard. It's a standard keyboard. It was mainly used for the Gene Key browser, but I use it as a quicker way of entering my name into save games. You've got console, obviously, controller, as I said before, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed the following review. As I say, I will be split into multiple parts, but I'll be showing you a lot of game footage, so this probably might be the longest console review ever, but I don't know, so stay tuned for that and good day.